Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to another recording session of Hearthstone. So, I suppose what we need to figure out first is trading out this quest. Now, it is very possible I need to play Beast, Overload, and Druid, so let's hop into that. It's very possible I missed a day, just because I've just been... I mean, this is probably not the reason. I'm not saying this is the reason, but it's the only thing I can think of. I tried drinking this mango flavored sleep drink that's supposed to help you sleep. And it's supposed to make you sleep properly, like a full REM cycle or two, so 4 or 8 hours. I drank it, I fell asleep for an hour, woke up, went back to sleep for an hour. Exactly the opposite of what you would want. That's poor quality sleep. And ever since I've drunken that like 3 days ago, it has just been this nightmare. Maybe it has nothing to do with that and I'm just caught some little flu or bug or something, but I've been super tired and just falling asleep like crazy, so I may have very well slept through an entire day on this. Insomnias and nightmare, it seems like you just struggle with it. And with any issue, disease, I don't know if you want to call insomnia disease or if you want to just call it a disorder. It's probably a disorder and not a disease technically. But with any issue like this, it feels like you're just going to have to struggle with it forever. And you can have, possibly if I could afford to see a doctor, if this channel paid enough for simple things like healthcare, then maybe at that point it would, there would be some kind of medication I could then be on that would help with that too, but that's just not the case right now. So, yeah. But this is also the recording that I said we were going to do an arena run on, and it's 6:51 already. And so that's a slight concern. Let's do this, this, and this, and then end this in. I just have to play beasts, so I guess even if I lose here, it doesn't matter. Just keep playing the beasts. I have, with a decent writing, so didn't scribble all over everything and take up a lot of space. I've filled up an entire board of things to talk about, and that's nice. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and do this and this. Is he a beast? Yes, he is. I guess we should start with the big thing. Resident Evil 7 is out on PC, and I can tell one personal story. Is one of the people that is on the gaming Facebook channel, so nobody I actually know, but this person put up a picture of their pre-order for $180 for Resident Evil 7, and I was like, boy, are you gonna regret that. Like, I think it comes with a model of the house, so you're paying like maybe $120 extra in extras for a model of the house, maybe some digital extras that really wouldn't matter too much. All realities, all dimensions are open to me. I think I'm just gonna end the turn here. Now, from what I'm seeing, people are liking Resident Evil 7, but I am still, and maybe I'm over-invested in this thought right now, but I'm still kind of the opinion that, like, today is day one in which people got it, and apparently nobody got any review pre-orders copies. I saw one person gave it a 90, which is inspiring, certainly, but I've also seen a report that it's only 4 hours long of gameplay. And as my opinion of RE7 has evolved, and it's never really been very high. After playing RE6, how can you have any faith in Capcom? But as it's evolved, it seems like it actually is a good game, just a really short game. And I may have to walk back and rescind my opinion that it's even a short game if it comes out and more people talk about it and I get more information. It's not a game I'm just still not at that point where I can afford to purchase games brand new, particularly games that I suspect will be short. I can say that I've seen gameplay of other people playing it, and it does feel a lot more like Outlast and hide and seek than it does like Resident Evil 4. So that's not really what I was looking for or hoping for in the Resident Evil series. Even if they are doing a really good version of something like Outlast, where you're in this horror game and you're just having to hide most of the time. There is definitely shooting in Resident Evil 7, but it seems like the people are bullet sponges, and it also kind of seems like the enemies might be ghosts or something and they respawn because there was a lot of them in the footage I was seeing that were getting killed, and either more people show up or something else happens, because it's kind of confusing otherwise. I got conflicting reports on whether RE7 was running well on PC. One person said it was running well, another person said it wasn't running well. So, I know NVIDIA's got a new video card update, and it's been kind of a long time since we've gotten an NVIDIA update. I've noticed, because we haven't had any new game come out in a while. And there's more to talk about on that, because the support for the last couple of games of Dishonored and Deus Ex is kind of shocking. There is also reports, and I think this is probably true, that it doesn't look as good as the demo, that the graphics just aren't as looking. RE7's demo might have overpromised on the graphics, almost certainly. Also, if you preload it like preloading any game on consoles, there's just a certain point where it's gonna surprise you and go, surprise, the game's not actually installed all the way, so you can't play it further. More evidence to the idea, not facts yet, but idea that RE7 is really short, is the fact that the DLC for RE7 is coming out a week after its launch on the PlayStation 4. Now, I don't know if that's specifically any exclusivity thing, and it's only going to be for the PlayStation 4, but to release DLC out for a game a week after it's come out is very strange. You would think, of the two options, you're either going to release DLC after you think the average player, less than half of the players have finished the gameplay, I would say. You would want it so fast players can play the DLC, the pre-order people, that you would want to do that. So you'd almost want to hand the DLC immediately out when the game comes out. if you can. And I've certainly seen certain games do that. Or you would want to wait like a month until the initial sales are gone and try to use DLC to bump up your sales. Maybe this is part of the industry now that they just don't care about any sales whatsoever. We only need 3 more beasts to play, and then I may just concede the game and move forward. Like, maybe it is that they only care about the first 2 weeks of sales now, and that's it. Because there's something in that. There definitely is something in that if they're saying, we want to boost our sales by introducing the first piece of DLC a week after the game. That means the game, they're thinking players are going to beat the game in a week. Which, if it's a 4-hour game, that's right. And there are collectibles. They're not the blue medallions that we're used to in Resident Evil. They're bobbleheads. There are guns, although I'm not sure how much you use the guns, really, or how useful the guns are. There are some strange puzzle combination doors, which looked very out of place in the one I saw, because of the fact that here you have this statue piece you have to find to unlock the door to a house that looks like it's kind of just a 2-story, maybe 2-story with a basement house. It looks like it's definitely larger than you would see, but it's also not. I mean, maybe it would be defined as an old mansion, and maybe it's just got a lot of things added onto it. The real question will be, do you ever leave this house, or are you just wandering back and forth through this house in a lot of instances? Or do you not wander back and forth through the house at all, and then you just have to make your way out? There was a certain point where the main character meets up with a police officer, and they're talking through this like barred window that looks like it's just got window panes stopping him from just simply breaking out the window and crawling through it and just leaving the whole place. Inherently, you're gonna have a sense of disbelief on this house, because at almost any house, unless you put heavy iron grates or board up or cement over, I mean, if you board up a window, you probably an adult male could probably kick down a boarded up window, depending on the wood you actually use. If you put iron bars in concrete, you could probably still loosen the concrete and get through it. But you really have to do a massive amount of work to a house to not have the multiple ways of exiting it. Particularly when you consider you're probably going to get a knife, you're probably going to get an axe, you're probably going to get a gun. And a gun will shoot the lock off probably any handle if you couldn't just kick down the door, or chop down the door, or find a screwdriver and remove the handle on the door. Houses are not prisons, and it would take a lot of work to make them prisons. If you could get to a roof of a house, it's not very difficult to find an escape through the roof of a house. If you can get to the basement of a house, you're probably a little bit more trapped there, since that would be concrete everywhere. But there might be a few windows there too. But this is mostly, the house just looks like an old, falling apart thing that it shouldn't really be that hard to escape. Anyways, for all we know, the whole game is just a dream or something, so that's the game they're telling, or whatever. So I can't really hurt it too much. It's just a sharp difference. When you look at like Resident Evil 1, you are locked in a mansion in a similar way, and you're surrounded by zombie wolves. So it really wasn't a case of like they couldn't leave the house. It was a case that if they left the house, they'd get attacked by zombies. Doesn't seem to be the case in RE7. RE2, you're in Raccoon City surrounded by zombies everywhere. There's really nowhere, while you spend the whole game trying to flee, there's really nowhere to go. RE3 is, I don't know where RE3 is set. So, yeah, I don't know anything about RE3, actually. I think it was really, really bad. But I think it also was in Raccoon City. RE4, you're in the Spanish town, and they've walled out the entire areas, and they were shutting down bridges and trapping you in areas on purpose.
To my side.
So you did move quite a bit, but there were zombies everywhere in RE4. RE5, same thing. You move a very large amount of places, but it's still. Let's see. I'm gonna kill this, and we'll do this one. And that one. And then end the turn. So they'll have to use those two to kill that guy. Speaking of RE1, a mod came out for a first-person mod for RE HD, which is cool and all, and it kind of looked like it might be on a headset because it seemed like there was a lot of human tilting of a head going on, but that might have just been the mouse the way it was set up. The problem with REHD and why I don't think I'd ever bother to play it is because I didn't really play RE1, and it just I think was a PlayStation game, and I never had a PlayStation or something like that. Or it was a PC game and I didn't have a PC back then. Or something else, whatever. REHD is a better looking version of that same game. And the problem with that game though is the rooms are small, the angles are set by very set camera perspective, so you'll walk halfway through a room and the camera will change. Let's see, I need to play 15 overload cards now. So, yeah, I don't know. I think you have to fully remake Resident Evil 1 if you want to remake it. And again, even if Capcom does a great job here, unless this is after RE7 comes out, they say we're going to remake the original series, and it's going to be really great. In a lot of ways, RE7 is arguably a remake of the first game. You were stuck in a house in the first game. You're stuck in a house in the seventh version of the game. There's a bunch of crazy people after you, instead of zombies. But otherwise, it's
greetings.
Is someone injured?
The same thing. And the thing that needed to be done seems like it actually has been done. If you were to say RE7 was a remake of the first, in the fact that instead of rooms being these kind of empty, low polygon rooms where you walk through each door and there's loading. They got rid of loading through each door. Of course, they would have to do that. They got rid of zombies just jumping out at random every time you walk through an area. The question, there may be a few items that are missing in the idea that RE1 had like a giant snake and dogs and some other monster creatures. If those monster creatures never show up and RE7 is just human ghost things, okay, they've lost a little bit there, and they may have lost a little bit on the RE feel of Wesker. I doubt they're going to reintroduce Wesker. In fact, I'm not sure any of the characters in this new game matter at all. Come to think of it, like you will be playing as these people, but their story might be 100% standalone, and then maybe at the very end they'll introduce a character that's going to show up in RE8, and that's it, a new Wesker or something like that. And I guess if they got rid of some of the stuff they saw as hammy, that wouldn't be a terrible idea. They're still saying it's in the Resident Evil universe, so certain things, particularly in 6, the terrorist activities that have happened are supposed to still have happened. So,
Job's done.
turn there. We're gonna finish quickly here, so let's just go through some of the other things. Like Deus Ex Mankind Divided has now released, in an attempt to roll back all the things that I think the creators of the game didn't want in the first place. They have released Breach Mode as its own separate thing, and the VR experience for its own separate thing, which you would need an Oculus Rift or a Vive to do the Deus Ex Mankind Divided VR experiences. Both of those are now free on Steam, and then instead of being integrated with the main game. Now, Breach Mode makes a lot of sense, because I'm sure what they're doing there is they're splitting it and saying, we've got nobody's playing Breach Mode. Breach Mode was dumb in the first place. So that makes a lot of sense that they're trying to get more people to play that. And then for the VR experience, I'm sure that's just really a matter of not very many people were playing that anyways. Also, let's see where the Mankind Divided's second expansion, Criminal Past, is coming out, which I find this very surprising because it's in the middle of January, late in January, and Mankind Divided came out like in the month before December. What would that be? November, December? Yeah, November. It came out like in November, so you're talking 2 months later, and they're still supporting the game, and it still really is the main AAA games that came out, because there really wasn't anything in December, which kind of makes sense, and there really hasn't been too much since then. And in a lot of ways, I guess Resident Evil 7 is the next AAA game to come out, so yeah, the second expansion is out for that, which is a lot better than what I can say for the new update for Dishonored 2, because there's a clear difference here, because the next update for Dishonored 2, which next is the right term, is just adding features that should have been there in the first place, where That should be 15 overload cards there. Where actually adding content is fine. Now, I'm still not a fan of DLC, and I still don't see a point in it, and I still would prefer to wait for a game to go on sale and actually be on sale and not end up buying all the DLC and still paying $60 for money. I saw an article talking about how pre-order and DLC really screws over the pre-order people, and so they're paying close to $100 plus for a $60 game, where the people, let's see.
See what is to come.
Where people who wait until they get all the DLC, like 6 months down the line, are actually still just paying $60. So they're getting screwed too, because now you have to wait almost a year or two before you can actually even get a game on sale. So another game that got DLC, and this is kind of even more shocking, is Dark Souls 3. The Ring City, I believe is what it's called, has been announced, and I did not see that one coming at all. That one was very, very surprising. Did I play enough? No, I didn't. So I need to play 2 more overload cards, and then I need to get 3 victories with the Druid. And we've gone 26 minutes. So that's long enough for a recording. That's going to be it for this one. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps out. If you want to support me further, go down and click on all the social media links and friend and follow me on all of those. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.